Hey guys, how's it going today? Matt here from Ales Adventures, and today's video is going to be an instructional video. I'm going to show you how to change out a manual tongue jack to a powered tongue jack. This is something Pat did a few months ago on his rig, and the results were great. He loves it. Barb and I are still manually cranking our 30-foot travel trailer up and down to hook it up and unhook it, which is very difficult to do in the Florida summer heat. So today I'm going to be installing a powered Lippert tongue jack. Hopefully you guys are going to like it. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so one of the first things we're going to do is put down the stabilizer jacks in the front. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure both sides are chopped. So my right side I don't have chopped, my left side I do, so I'm going to chop these wheels. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly take the tongue jack, the manual tongue jack, and start letting it down, and that should start to pick it up. And I'm going to do it real slowly just in case the thing starts to move or anything. So here we go. Okay, so now it's time to take the bolts off. This whole assembly is only held on by 3 bolts. You see here, they're 9/16, 1, 2, and 3. Once these bolts are out, I can pull this assembly out, and the new assembly will just slip right back in the existing hole. Alright, so I started cracking the bolts, but they are really rusted on there good, so I'm going to have to put a little more muscle into it. I'm going to try to do it a little more manually. If not, I've got a large impact gun that I'll use to pull them out. Okay, so I used my battery-powered impact driver, and that did not crack those bolts. So they're on there since the thing was built, so pretty rusty. I'm going to get out just a regular socket wrench with a 9/16 socket and an extension and try to break those bolts. Alright, so you can see up in here, hopefully you can, these are the bolts coming through. I just need to spray them down really good and see if I can't get them to break loose a little better. See how that does. Okay, something got a little screwed up with this portion of the video. So basically I've got all 3 bolts out. The whole assembly, you can see here, it pulls right out, and then the new assembly can go directly into the existing hole. The bolts should line up. So here's the new Lippert Power Tongue Jack. Let's see here, Lippert, and it's got on, off, and up and down. It also has this really great light on there, so if you are disconnecting at night, there's Mickey, my big panda butt dog. That light will be great, so you can see what you're doing. You don't have to hold a flashlight or anything. And looks like, if you look here, looks like 285318 is the model number. I did get it off of Amazon. And this is all what it includes. So it's got the foot, it's got the power cord, which I'm gonna have to figure that out. I think that, matter of fact, that just goes straight to hot because the actual unit is bolted to the frame, so that grounds it. And it's got a manual jack and 3 bolts. And this way, if something goes on, your battery dies or the thing fails for any reason, you can put the manual jack in there and still crank it up and down until you can get it replaced. All right, so let's start working on putting this thing on. All right, so we got it laid out. Let's get it opened up. Looks like there's a little shipping damage, but hopefully that doesn't have anything to do with anything here. Let's take a look at that. Oh no, that's good. That's just all styrofoam, and that manual jack there. Here's the bolt packet here, which is all good. So far it looks like it's in good condition. Looks like you got your instructions here. Well, that's a good thing. I am one of those guys that reads instructions, by the way. I learned as a young man who didn't read instructions that you really should read instructions. Let's take this off here. Oh wow. All right, looks like it's in good condition. Heavy duty sucker. All right, let me pull this out of the box and go put it in position and see what we come up with. All right guys, I just set it in. It's not bolted on or anything. I just want to make sure that it fits, and it does. Let's see, yeah, it sits right there. Looks like all the bolt holes line up perfectly, which is great. Got the power cord there. And this little black adapter there, that actually goes to a 7-pin adapter that you can buy. So when you back up, if your trailer battery's dead, you can plug this directly into your 7-pin in the truck and use the truck's battery. And I am definitely going to buy that today, so I'll have that in a couple days, because that makes all the sense in the world. But this thing looks good. There's some people that have talked about these coming in with cracks in the housing, but this was is in good shape. On, off, retract, extend, and then the light. So let me get this bolted in. I am a little concerned about how long this is going to go down. This does not have that extendable insert that can go in there. Here, but it does have a foot that goes on it. So, all right, let me get it bolted on and see what happens. All right, all 3 bolts have been put on and tightened. Put them on with my impact drill first, and since that couldn't get the rusted bolts off, I went ahead after I did that and tightened it up as tight as it'll go. I put on my large socket wrench with the, this is actually metric, of course. If it's coming from Amazon, it's going to be metric. But this is a 13 metric socket. And when I put that on with the manual socket wrench, there still was plenty of room to tighten up. So I recommend if you guys are doing this, don't just use the strength of your impact drill driver. There's mine there. Mine's a rigid 18 volt. And it's pretty good, it's pretty strong, but it's not strong enough to do this. So just a little word of advice. And by the way, I'm an amateur doing this stuff. You know, I'm pretty good at turning a wrench, so I know how to do a lot of things. So, you know, if you guys have never done this stuff, you might want to have a professional do it. It is only 3 bolts, but it's pretty simple as long as you've got some tools to do it. But I just don't want anybody to get hurt. But if you can turn a wrench, and if, you know, you should be able to do this no problem. I'm gonna hook the power up and see how this goes. I've got the battery cover off here, and this is a brand new battery with some battery grease on there. But we haven't had a battery on this thing and that worked in, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years. We just really don't ever do anything off grid. The only thing that kind of screwed up is without the battery, you can't run the water pump. So if you pull over and you want to use your own bathroom real quick, you know, you don't have the water pump so you can flush the toilet. So we'll just take a jug of, like a 1-gallon jug of water. So when we got to flush, you know, we'll just kind of rinse it down with that. But hopefully this will get us up and running now with the new battery. We can actually use our water pump, but all we got to do is really hook up the hot wire to the red side here, which is going to be your positive side, and that should work. So let's take a look. Well, in my household, it's not a project if you don't have to go to Home Depot at least once. The wire going from the power jack is just it's a braided wire, a number 10 braided wire. And what I really want to do is I want to get a connector for that with like a little loop that I can crimp on the end of it, and I'll show you that in the when I get to that point. And this way it'll be secure when I tighten the nut down on the battery post. And I noticed when I put that new battery on the other day, my old one was in there since the day I bought this thing, and this is a 2010 Coachman Catalina, so it's been there a long time. It was really corroded. So after I cleaned up all the corrosion with some baking soda mix, everything, the copper loop was really kind of eaten up. I put it on there anyway because I didn't really feel like going back to the store after lugging that big ass battery around. But so I'm going to go ahead, and that's number 6 wire that goes from the camper to the battery. So I'm going to get a connector for number 6, and I'm going to get a connector for number 10 wire. This way they're fit properly. I'll crimp them on really good and get them all secure. So I headed to Home Depot. All right, this is what we're looking for here. So we're looking for number 6, which is this one. And we need a number 10. I'm just gonna use 2 of these because these are big enough to go over my battery post. Quick and easy at Home Depot. And back to the house to finish up this project. Okay, this is my hot wire for my camper, and I've already cut off this, so you can see that. That's the old ring terminal there, and that thing I told you was just eaten up with acid and stuff from where the battery had corroded, so I just wanted to get rid of that. And now I've got my wire. I cut it and I respliced it. Got enough out there for the new terminal. These are the new ring terminals I just got from Home Depot. So I'm going to connect that to this using a wire stripping crimping tool. And I'll show you that here in just a second. All right, guys, we got both of the ring terminals put on here and crimped on there really good. And they were actually, I had these, which I use for my air conditioning repair stuff that I did, but these actually took some bigger tools. I had to get my big lineman pliers out to crimp these for number 6 wire. They're really heavy duty, so I got these big bad boys out here, which have a lot more torque on them, and that was able to crimp them down. All right, so I'm going to connect both of these to this terminal and tighten it down, and we should be good to go. All right, got them tightened on. Now let's see if this thing works. Let's see if the light comes on. All right, yep, the light is on. Very good, 3 LEDs. Let's see if it extends. Let's see how quiet that is. The way it's extending is just slow going. See if it'll go up. Making some funky noise. Hopefully that's okay. me put the foot on. There's a flat foot and a pin that goes on there. Oh, here it is right here. Let me just get that put on and get this thing lowered, see if I can get the camper lifted with it. Guys, we are up. We are up. These are off. It's holding on tight. Success. All right, so that works. So we're pretty much done now. What we're gonna do is do a little bit of cleanup. I'm gonna get all my tools cleaned up, put back away so when I need them, they're there. I might need to switch this around a little bit. Actually, I want to get my wires towards the back so they go through the vent. I'll do that here in just a second. You don't need to necessarily watch me do that. And then the loose wire here, I'll get some zip ties and make sure that's nice and secure. And then I'll show you the finished product. Well, that is it, guys. That is my video on installing my Lippert Power Tongue Jack. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. Now, this project is pretty simple as long as you take your time and you have some basic knowledge of tools, which I do. So it was very simple for me. I did run into a little snag simply with getting the power hooked up. I had to run and get a couple of ring connectors to crimp onto the power cable to go over my battery post. That was a quick trip to Home Depot. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe. And hopefully I'll do a little bit more of this stuff. I know Pat's been doing some projects with his rig as well. So between the two of us, we're going to start trying to come up with a few things. I know most channels do this sort of thing, but we're going to come at it from a weekend warrior perspective. That's what we are. Right now we're camping basically about twice a month. So, you know, that's roughly 24 plus trips a year. And that's a fair amount. So, you know, we do a lot of traveling, and especially with this old rig from 2010, I've done a lot of repairs to this. Not so many upgrades, just repairs. I had some water damage, that sort of thing. I'll cover some of that in another video. But thanks again for tuning in and watching. Have a great day. can't drive worth a shit. You see that? Look at that motherfucker. Idiot. All that so he could turn there. What a fucking jackass. Yeah, I'm following you, you dumb fuck.